What's good, my boy? This is going to be kind of a contradiction to my last couple videos. I've recently made these videos that are very kind of anti-online business, where I'm promoting working in the trades, where I'm promoting being useful to society and not just thinking about making money for yourself through an online business, yada yada yada. Okay? But recently, and I've kind of known this for a while, but it made me make this video because I heard this point from somebody. And it's pretty much about making videos. Whenever you start making videos or any sort of online content, people will tell you, if you want to make it, dude, you got to be a niche. You got to niche down. You got to niche down. And then people, they'll be like, oh, I got all these interests. How do I just pick one? Say some shit like that. And this thing I saw was pretty much just saying, you don't have to pick one. You shouldn't pick one. You should be as broad as possible, and you should be yourself, because you are the niche. All of your combined interests are your niche. That is what makes you unique. Like a Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan isn't Joe Rogan because he sat beside and was like, oh, I got all these different things. I need a niche down and make my podcast interesting because people know what I'm about. No, people know what he's about because he's so broad and has all of these different interests and topics that he talks about. Now, this is not just about making online content, because I'm going to try to transition this thought of you are the niche, be broad, do not simplify your interests, into a real world line of thinking, which you hear all the time. People say, be yourself, dude, be unique. And you're like, yeah, everybody fucking says that, whatever. But so many people are not unique. And the reason why so many people are not unique is because they have no time to develop their personality. You see it with the incel community. You see it with these people online being like, oh, I feel like a loser. I'm just this and that. The self-improvement industry wouldn't be as successful as it is if this wasn't the case. So how do we develop interests? How do we develop a personality whenever you're someone like your only interests and the only things that you do and can talk about is things you consume, or the video games you play, or the weed you smoke, and that's about all. So how do we develop uniqueness from that? And that is through boredom. I remember a while back in 2020, there was this really popular thing called dopamine detox going around, and how it's like the answer to all of your problems. You also saw things like NoFap. You saw people saying quit video games, quit smoking weed, quit alcohol, these types of things. And while I practice all of them, there's an underlying reason to do it and what it actually changes in you. And it's way more important than, oh, quit playing video games because you don't get anything out of it. Quit smoking weed because it makes you dumb. Quit drinking alcohol. There's more to that. Same with the NoFap. There's no magic powers from any of this shit that's going to make you fly. What it is it's time allocation. You've taken time. Say you spend your days doing all of these activities, and whenever you cut them out, you're left with all of this time, okay? Even if you work an 8-hour job, you're still left with this time after and before the job. And if you don't do anything, you're bored. And when you're bored, you have to figure out things to do. You start to figure out different things to be interested in, different things that grab your attention that you find enjoyable. Besides time-wasting activities like fucking beating your meat or playing a game for 14 hours. And I was the same way, where I quit playing video games back in like 2020. And I spent the time that I used to play on video games watching YouTube videos. So I traded one time-wasting thing for another. And I didn't really gain much from it. And then finally, I gave both of those things up. I still utilize videos as a tool to learn, but it's not like engrossing me where it's got a grasp and I can't stop it. I'm addicted to it. No. So then I was left with all this time, like I said. and I start finding things interesting. I start diving into music. I start finding all of the aspects from different instruments to learn how to play, to producing, to engineering, to if you put this microphone here on a drum set, it makes this sound. All these different little weird, unique things on it. I start absorbing, and it starts becoming part of me. Well, then I start working as a general contractor, building homes and building structures for people, fixing things on their house, another useful investment of my time. So now I have these two broad things, and I still have more time. So I added another thing. I added in oil painting, and I got pretty good at it. And then I had a little bit more of a chunk of time. So I added in making videos. And now in the past, it swallowed me up, and I was like thinking it was going to be my way, my break free of the Matrix type thing. Online business, dude, I got to fucking make these videos. And it became kind of a toxic thing. But now I have a healthy balance between all of them. And I'm not sitting here trying to brag and say I'm like the most interesting person, but I actually have a personality and something that defines me that isn't just something I consumed and regurgitated to somebody else. You see what I'm getting at here? You can make this transition without having to go like super hyper into self-improvement, online business. I'm an entrepreneur, dude. They don't know how hard we work. We fucking grind to the bone, dude. They don't know what it's like. You don't have to end up like one of those fucking corny, annoying ass people, but you can still be unique. Think about Joe Rogan. He's very respected among a lot of people. And the reason why people find him so interesting is because he's himself. But he's also not a fucking bland potato person. He has multiple interests and has an open mind, and people love him for that. Okay? And anybody who's struggling with this, feels like they're boring, feels like they're not doing anything, lacks meaning in life, you develop these things from doing the things you love, getting good at certain things. You don't have to be a master of anything, but just having a vast array of interests. In nowadays, the main people you see like this are like older people. It's very seldom that you see like a 20-year-old person come out and they have all these different interests. Normally it's just like one thing if they really pop off from it. It's like you see somebody who's like very, very good at guitar, like a Tim Henson or some shit like that, or they'll pop off like that. But I rarely see like a 20-year-old Joe Rogan type person where they're just multi-interested. They have all these different things. They follow their curiosity. It's like most of the 20-year-olds are just one thing. It's just like they make self-improvement videos. They do this. It's just bland. And the reason for this is like TikTok type shit, bro. Whenever you're bored, you have full reign to explore curiosities, just like I explained. But if you fill that boredom up and eliminate the boredom completely, then you don't have the room to grow and explore. You're just fucking work, distraction, instead of go to your fucking job. You don't have to even like, so many of these people get hyper obsessed with this escape the matrix online business bullshit because they realize that, oh, I can find other things interesting than video games or TikTok. They start going in this route, but then they realize, well, I need money to sustain myself and do this. So then they start trying to find ways to quit their job. And you don't have to do that, bro. You can support yourself where you don't have to stress about bullshit like that through a job, and then focus on all of your passions and hobbies, and you're just like a normal person that used to exist. But a lot of these people that are what I'm describing as normal don't exist anymore. They don't. It's literally just work their job and fucking distract themselves through TV, TikTok, just consumption, bro. And this is like my most like self-improvement based video I've made in the last couple days. But it's just frustrating whenever I see so many people out there. Like, I even worked with a guy on my contracting crew. I even worked with this kid who I fucked with him so much, bro. He was chill. His sense of humor matched mine. We got along great. But whenever it came to after work, he was talking about what are we going to do, and he wanted to go smoke weed and just hang out all fucking day, bro. And I wanted to go and work on like some music shit, do some painting, maybe make a video. I wanted to keep not working, but doing things that I found interesting. And he's not an anomaly, bro. He's the norm for nowadays, bro. He's the fucking norm. These people do not have any interests. It's just like the only thing not even interesting, because I don't consider it interesting, is like the fucking sports figures that they find that they like. Oh, dude, did you see the game? Oh, dude, they'll fucking send memes from basketball and different commentators and shit, and that's all there is. It's like people used to fucking get together and make bands and do fun things. And this is where it gets a little philosophical, because I don't know whether or not I can really say it's a positive or a negative without sounding like a grandpa, being like, oh, kids nowadays don't understand. I'm a fucking kid myself. But it's frustrating whenever you don't see anybody, you never meet anybody like yourself in person who shares these same interests. Not even the same interests, but like a desire to do something else. And then, but here's the fucked up thing, bro. Whenever you do meet somebody that has a desire different than this, they either fall into fucking one of two categories. They either fall in the category where they're all talk and they never get anything done, they just act like they're fucking really grinding, or the second category where they're just like, they take themselves way too seriously and they'll fucking type on an Instagram comment like on a fucking Andy Frisella or Alex Hormozy or one of these podcast Instagram channels, like, they don't fucking get me, dude. I grind so fucking hard, nobody gets us, dude. We'll make it in the end. It's like, bro, you're a fucking cornball. It's like, whenever you break free of consumption and you start actually doing something, you fucking only ever encounter people who are trying to, or just acting like they're doing something different, or people who take themselves way too seriously where they're like annoying to be around. And this is just me complaining at the end of this, and I'm kind of just encouraging more people to put the fucking phone and the games down and start doing interesting shit so I can have more people to fucking kick it with. But I ain't gonna change the world, dog. One video at a time, one song at a time, one painting at a time. Oh, but seriously, dog. People need to realize two things. First is balance is important. Don't swing so far on the pendulum that you're a fucking pain to be around and you're like so annoying because all you can talk about is how you're grinding so fucking hard. And the other side of the coin, don't be such a fucking piece of mush that all you want to do is smoke weed and play video games and you don't have anything else interesting about you at all. And you feel justified in being this way because all of your fucking friends do the same shit. It's like, break free from the norm, bro. Be unique and be yourself. Don't be another robot who's a grind set robot, and don't be another fucking robot who's just a lazy piece of mush. Go in the middle, bro. Find things that are interesting. Don't, like, the best way to describe it is like this grind set person is like a super angsty, desperate person who doesn't give a fuck about anything. Online business, doesn't express himself or anything like that. It's just like all fucking hustle, hustle, hustle. I gotta do this. And I was in this camp. This is the craziest shit. Because you're hearing from somebody who's been in this camp and has been in this camp. I spent the majority of my fucking youth in this camp, and then I spent a good 1.5 or 2 years in this camp. And now, I've just now found how to break free from this. It's like, it just seems like a normal trajectory for most. Is like, you go from here to here, and then you kind of slowly come back to the middle, to the balance. And, yeah. But to go back to the whole niche thing, if you are interested in making these videos, don't be a fucking copycat. Don't be like, oh, I gotta be a niche in the fucking interview podcast scene. Oh, I'm gonna fucking be a self-improvement guy telling 1,000 people not to beat their meat. It's probably like the fucking 100,000th no-fat video they've ever seen. Be different, dog. I'm about to start putting up some truly different type shit. I have so little time to make these videos, so that's why they come out unedited. That's why it's just me sitting in my fucking studio, talking to my microphone, rambling. I've had a couple videos where I allowed my little creativity bug to go into them, but it's just like, between keeping up with my relationships with people, my main fucking job as a general contractor, working out and all the fucking habits that I do throughout the day, as well as also practicing my music and my painting, it's just like hard to do all of them. Because whenever I start doing all of them, see, this is the thing where you don't let go of your balance. If you're in the position that I'm in, it's very, very tempting to let go of that balance and start swinging more towards that fucking hustle side. And whenever you, like for me, it'd be like, all right, I'm going to start doing all of these things full swing, and then I let go of things that are actually important in life. Like your family, having good relationships with their family and spending time with them while they're alive. Because statistics show that if they're older than you by like 20 fucking years, they will die before you, so do not undervalue spending time with them. For me, it's like even exaggerated, because I live here with my grandpa, and he's like 76 years old, and it's like a ticking clock every single day, so I'm always on edge, and that kind of hyper inflated that whole grind set era that I was in, because it was like, time's ticking, I gotta make this shit happen. A lot of people are that way, but whenever they're in that camp, but more often, it's just because they want to take their fucking mom to Dubai or some stupid shit like that. I gotta buy my mom a house and take her to Dubai. She's a big girl, bro. She'll be alright. She'll be alright. But I'm just rambling at this point. The niche is you in life. Don't ever dumb yourself down thinking that you have to be a master of fucking one thing. Being a jack of all trades is one of the most fun things you can do, one of the most rewarding things you can do, and it's what interests people the most. Like, Joe Rogan is the most successful fucking person in media because he's gotten a little bit kind of like, it kind of seems like he's putting on a front sometimes, but he's like the most open-minded, talk about anything, fully indulges in his own interests and isn't shy about it person I've seen online. That's why so many people look up to him. But you can be that same way. You just gotta not be skewed and drawn in by these fucking fruit fly people, vampires trying to suck your mental fortitude away by telling you have to do this, you have to do that if you want to be successful. No. Do what you intuitively feel like you should fucking do and be yourself. And I'm going to keep making videos telling people to fucking work hard with their hands and be tradesmen and also be artists, because that's what I do, and that's the best place I can come from with advice is things I experience. I'm not going to talk out of my ass about some shit I don't know about. Whenever I was making 350 pieces of content across all platforms a week because I was desperate and angsty, wanting shit to happen for me, that's what I fucking talked about on a daily basis. Whenever I was sitting around fucking off, beating my meat, playing video games, smoking weed, I didn't make a single fucking video because I didn't have anything to talk about. And now that I've found and discovered balance and a certain sense of peace in myself, that is what I talk about, is how to achieve that. I'll always be true to myself on here. I ain't never gonna fuck around and act like somebody I'm not for some views or any bullshit like that, because I don't give a fuck about it. I'm very comfortable in my normal life. I can stick to schedules and routines like I like. I like the people around me, and I don't really seek anything more than some monetary success and ways to monetize my passions. And other than that, I guess that leaves us with the end of this video. Chase paper, enjoy art and nature, my boy, and have a good one. Be yourself.